Well, I came into the office pretty early this morning. It's Friday, and wanted to get some work done so I could get on the water really quick and catch some bait for tomorrow's trip. We've got a guy coming all the way from Mississippi who won the 11,000 subscriber contest. He's coming in from Mississippi to go fishing with us tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be great weather. Looks like this weekend's going to be a normal, typical summer pattern. Afternoon thunderstorms, so it looks like we're going to have a pretty good weekend. I'm hoping the bite is the same as it was last week, or even close to it, because it was awesome. So I'm going to go out and catch chum for tomorrow's trip, because I don't want to concentrate too much on it since the major's not early, but I want to be fishing for an hour or two before that major comes into effect. So right now I'm going to go find bait. I'm probably going to run to the Skyway to get it really quick. I'll talk about that, and then we'll go into the Friday fishing forecast. Little red group. Well, like I said in the beginning of this, it looks like the tide's going to be a pretty good tide. Slow incoming, so it's going to be really good for snapper and grouper, and then it's going to turn and it's going to scream out. And when it screams out, what happens is there's a thing that we call a crab flush. And when you get closer to the new moon and full moon in the summertime, we have that crab flush, and it's really popular for fishing for tarpon and things like that, but it's also really good for grouper fishing. This one just spit up this crab, so I'm actually going to rehook this crab and send it back down, because I bet you that's what they're eating, especially on this outgoing tide. He's a little red grouper, but I'm just fishing in a spot that I just stopped at really quick just to see what I could find, and I found a nice rock pile. So that negative hard outgoing tide is not the best for grouper and snapper. It's really good for the inshore species like snook, redfish, trout, tarpon, things like that, but that slow incoming tide this weekend is going to be the tide to hit. And right now I'm fishing in the major feeding time, and so that's the second one. It's 2 drops and 2 fish. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the Friday fishing forecast, and hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and let's get to it. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the tides for Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, we have a high tide at 10:46 a.m. at a 2.63 foot. And then we have a low tide at 6:36 at a 0.24 foot. On Sunday, we have a low tide at 4:58 a.m. at a 1.63 foot. Then we have a high tide at 11:45 at a 2.67 foot. And then we have a low tide at 7:17 at a 0.26 foot. Now, as you can see, those slower tides, as I was talking about when I was fishing, those slower tides are actually really good tides to fish for grouper and snapper. Like I'm sitting out here right now, and that incoming tide is not very fast, and every single drop that I put down I caught fish on. We're fishing in the major right now, so we're going to get into the major and minor feeding times here very shortly. But I just want to talk about that tide, because if you want to concentrate on grouper and snapper this weekend, you definitely want to hit that slower incoming tide. And then as it crests out and it starts to go out, that's when those fish are going to start to hunker down on the bottom and kind of turn off a little bit. That's well, at least that's typically what we find with the fish. When the tide starts ripping pretty good, they kind of shut off. Now let's go ahead and get into the major and minor feeding times for Saturday and Sunday. Okay, Saturday we have a major feeding time from 9:45 to 11:45 a.m. And then we have a minor time from 5:22 to 6:22 p.m. On Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 10:38 to 12:38 p.m. and a minor from 6:08 to 7:08 p.m. Now, as I've just talked about, that major feeding time this morning, every bait that I dropped, it was a fish on. After I caught that small red grouper, I took that crab, dropped it down, fish on. So I think the major feeding time this weekend is going to be a really good time to be out there, because that slow tide. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's sending questions and comments and sending pictures, and I'm going to get around to getting those out on our page so people can see what other people are catching. Again, we appreciate all the support with the jigs, the braided line. Just want to let you know that by the end of next week, we should start carrying egg sinkers from 1 ounce all the way up to 8 ounces. I put it out there, and the consensus is that right now, I guess egg sinkers are hard to find, so we're going to be bringing in those. If you guys are interested in circle hooks, just packages of circle hooks, let me know, because that's something that I can do too. 2 and 4/0 is what I have, and the 4/0 is typically what we like to use. Again, thank you very much for all of the support. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. If you have not entered the contest on TampaBayFishingChannel.com, you might want to do that pretty quick, because I'm getting ready, and I keep saying this, but I'm going to do it. I'm getting ready to pick the 12,000 subscriber winner. Matter of fact, tomorrow we have the 11,000 subscriber winner, Marty, and he's coming all the way from Mississippi to come and fish with us. And that's just an honor for me, and somebody's willing to drive that far to come and fish with Chad and I. So I came out today to just go ahead and fill up 2 buckets worth of chum, because I wanted to have enough chum to where we can really get these fish in a frenzy. And I've got 2 buckets of really small bait, which I wanted to get. And so we're ready for the chum tomorrow. We're gonna get a bunch of hand-sized pinfish and get out there and get on it. So watch for the video for this tomorrow at the beginning of the week. Thanks again. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the next video.